I think I found the bike. Hello, my name is Dave. This will be the first video of hopefully a long line of many videos. I guess I should start. I decided to call this channel Motorcycle Garden because we're in the basement. It's a walkout basement. There's just nice big bright windows overlooking the garden, and there's going to be a motorcycle. There's a garden. Motorcycle garden. I've come up with a kind of a crazy idea. My friends have been talking for quite a few years about moving down to Belize. They're going to retire there, and in the last couple of months in my mind, although I'm not planning to retire down there, I thought it would be pretty cool to have a motorcycle and to drive it down there to visit them. They are also motorcycle people, motorcycle enthusiasts, so I've just been kind of thinking that over in my mind, and I've kind of developed a really rough plan. So sort of, I guess, to add to that, I don't own a motorcycle anymore. I've had them in the past. I'm going to try to find something a bit older that's vintage that needs to be restored. I had thought of lots of different kinds of bikes. And as I was looking around what was available on Facebook Marketplace and then Craigslist, thinking about this and thinking about that, kind of popped in my mind when I was younger. I was about 14 or 13, 14 in those years. I really liked and wished I could have had an XT, Yamaha XT enduro or a dual sport. When I was a kid, I just thought they were the coolest things. I didn't have a driver's license, so I just thought someone who could have a dirt bike that could be legal on the road was just the best thing ever. Yeah, many years later, I still think that's pretty cool. So there's the kid in me that really likes those bikes, and I see a few different ones that are available in my area. I'm in the Lower Mainland in the Vancouver area. And the next few weeks I hope to source one. They all need work. They're all over 40 years old. I'm well over 40 years old, and I've been putting some work in on myself as well. But I'll get into more of that later, but that's kind of the idea, is find a bike, get it here, and restore it into really good riding condition, and do some trips here in Canada next summer, and in the following year ride it. I think I would probably start up in Alaska, which I used to work in the Yukon and spent a little bit of time in Alaska, and there's lots I would like to see. So kind of the dream I'm working with, and got to make it into a plan, is to get this bike here, get it stripped down and rebuilt to new, or maybe even better than new if that's possible. I'm not the most skilled mechanic, so I'm going to be going slow. I'm going to be learning lots along the way. I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes, I'm sure. I'm going to be asking for help, and I'm going to try to do everything myself that I'm able to. Eventually do a trip that would ideally go from somewhere in North Alaska, even as far as Dead Horse, and all the way down to Belize, where my friends will be living. And then who knows what will be between there and what may come after that. But that's the start. So clean up all the junk out of here, set up some shelves. I'm really starting from scratch. I'll show you my toolbox here. It's down on the floor. Just a little old red toolbox that don't have many tools. I don't even have a socket set anymore. So I'm gonna have to, really start from scratch. Don't have the bike, don't have the tools, don't really even have the know-how. But I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna ride that bike, and I wanna bring you guys along for the ride. Thanks. Hey, good morning. So today is a pretty big day. Let me catch up on everything that's going on. The big news is for the motorcycle that I'm going to ride down to Central America, hopefully. I think I found the bike, and my daughter and I are going to go and see the guy this afternoon, actually at about noon, in a few hours. It's about an hour and a half away from where I live. Pretty excited, yeah. So here we go, big day in the motorcycle garden. So in watching and editing this first video, I realized that I'm calling the bike or bikes that I bought the wrong thing. I think I say it 5 or 6 times. We'll have to count. That is XT500, and in fact it's a 1983, or they're both 1983 XT550s. I was so excited going to get these bikes. The night before I was online and watching stuff on YouTube, and I really kind of did a deep dive on the XT500s and specifically the 1979 and 1980 Dakar races, which really put the XT bikes on the map by winning those and then sweeping it in 1980. And so I must have just had that in my mind. I knew that it was an XT, or they were both XT550s, but in my excitement going to get them, I kept calling it XT500. So anyways, just to clarify that I'm a dumbass. The bikes that I bought are XT550s. I found a bike from this guy on Facebook Marketplace. It's a 1983 Yamaha XT500, and he has 2 of them. One is for the dirt. It's all stripped down and it's running just to ride in the dirt. And then he has another one that, with the paperwork for it, that is legal for the street. So it's 2 bikes for the price of one. The street one is completely tore down into parts. He was going to rebuild it and never got around to it. So that's the one that I'm interested in, because that's the one I want to rebuild and use for this trip. But it's kind of a bonus because it comes with a running bike that I can ride this summer in the dirt. So we're just going to meet him now in Hope, BC. We just drove like 100 and some odd kilometers, my daughter and I. And we're going to go check it out and see what we see.
The trail. Cool. But yeah, I find it easier. Well, you ride around, obviously.
It's been a long time. So the reason I was interested in this one is because when I was a kid, so I would have been 14 when this bike was built.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the coolest thing. I couldn't afford it when I didn't have a driver's license, but
Yeah.
I just thought it would be the coolest thing. You can go anywhere in the street. So like 40 years later,
You know what's cool about this one as well is, so it's a big thumper though.
yeah. So is there decompression?
No, it's got auto decompression, but you can adjust it with this one here.
I gotcha.
But where I've got it now is pretty sweet
Not
spot
bad.
for starting it.
So that's stop, that's run there.
Yeah, so I've stripped everything out.
Yeah.
So this is just hardwired into the kickstart. But there's all the wiring looms and all that.
Choke.
And you really got to give it a... Yeah.
A big girl. That's awesome.
Yeah, you should have no worries if you're on the open road with it, no.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Let's have a look at all the parts then.
Yep.
Got a bunch of extra stuff. The frame is there, the swing arm is there, all the cases and engine stuff is there.
As far as I know, I tried to kind of go through it, but I don't really have that big of a mechanical knowledge on it.
Me either.
Yeah, and like these ones are, it's like a spare motherboard wiring harness, and these things are
I
handy.
love it because it has the running one guys can kind of look at.
My theory was that you got the two bikes,
Yeah.
and between like everything, you should be able to make
Good.
it work. Like even if you're rebuilding this and you're missing,
Yeah, you can.
and you've
go
got
around
that.
the corner.
Yeah, we'll get the front up, and then I'll just get you to hold the
Okay.
handlebars, and then you ready? So I got that.
Okay, on the back.
If you jump up and then hold the.
Get my money's worth out of you here.
Yeah, just try not let it spin too much.
Awesome. Okay, got it. Sure. Yeah.
If you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. There's the frame. Should have put the gloves on.
Alright, let me give this guy a hand. That's gonna be
Yeah, will that one fit up in there?
should. What do I want? Just be careful of some of the plastic in there. Some of it a little bit busted up, but
We'll go through it all. That's half the fun.
maybe it's tight.
So cool. Look in here. Engine cases. Carbs. There. These are long as hell. Are you gonna buy another bike then?
Yeah, I might keep an eye out.
Something a little smaller.
Yeah, around 200, I think would be
Yeah.
something you can put into a trailer and transport around.
Let's go a couple times. There you go. Thank you. Beautiful. And go at the same time. That's great. Good, eh? Beauty.
But it's definitely not going anywhere.
I don't think so. Let's load up the parts plate and then check your email, make sure you got paid.
Yep.
Thank you, man. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
brother.
you. Thanks for
All
waiting.
the best.
I'll keep you in the loop.
Good luck with it, man,
Okay.
and safe travels.
Thank you. That was awesome. We met Brendan here in Hope, and he had the two XT 500s, 1983. One is, and we have paperwork for both. One is just registered for the dirt, and that's the one that's running. Started on, I think, the second kick from coal. Lots of power. Took it for a small little burn. That's great. And then there's the whole other bike in pieces. He's owned it for 4.5 years, and the guy he bought it from tore it down to restore it and never did. So he bought it to do the same thing and he never did. So now it's ours. It's mine, and that's great. So we're just heading home. It's the perfect project. And then when I was thinking about it today, so I would have been 14 when this bike came out, and I just thought that it was the coolest bike ever, and I wished one day I could have one. Well, today is that day, more than 40 years later. Pretty funny. So we came to Hope to get this XT500 for restoration, and then I remembered that this is the town that made these bikes famous. This is a 500, but it was Sylvester Stallone that rode it in Rambo that made the 250 famous, and that's what Hope's famous for. They have the statue over there. So here we are, have lunch with Rambo and the XT500. Hey, so got home from Hope and picking up the XT500 project. I'm just so happy with the deal we got and so lucky to find it, I think. Thanks, shout out to Brendan. Got the full running XT500 83. That's got paperwork for off-road. It's all stripped down, no headlight, no signals, no mirrors, turn signals, any of that stuff. Just started right up, took it for a rip. It's got lots of power, got tires, everything's working. Probably needs some work, drips a bit of oil, this and that and the other thing, but it's a running bike and ready to enjoy this summer. And then what I'm really excited about is that it came with a complete, or what I'm hoping is almost complete bike that's already been torn down and needs to be gone through and, you know, completely rebuilt from scratch. But it also has all the paperwork and all the registration. So I'm really excited to actually see what's got and open up the boxes. And he's got used parts, new parts, and just kind of get them a little bit, see what we have, try to organize them. And that's going to be this winter's project. And that's really what I bought this for, was because I want to rebuild one of these vintage bikes and use it for my trip. But the bonus is that for only $1,000, everything came with it and with the running bike. Okay, so I unloaded the basket case bike and brought it down into my little garden shop here that we got the shop ready for this. The other Sika outside, that's just a side project. Same with the bicycle. That's just to ride around and help me lose a little bit more weight because I'm fat. And but the main project, I was really hoping to get this bike. I've been talking with him for a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks on Facebook Marketplace. Excuse me, but he was away at work. Apparently I was one of the first guys to message him, and he's a really cool dude, and messaged me as soon as he got back to town and said I had first dibs on it. So my daughter and I went out to Hope this morning and took a small cruise on the running bike, and that alone was worth $1,000 easy. But it's the parts bike that we want to restore and here in the shop over the winter, and then take a trip with it, a nice long road trip. That's what this channel is all about. Okay, let's see what we have all together. I'm just eating a bit of lunch here, some chili and some ice water. But let's go through this stuff and take a quick inventory. So there's a whole frame for another 83 XT500. It's dirty and it's got some scuffing, as you think it would after 43 years. So it's been passed down. I guess I'm at least the third owner as a basket case, and I'm hopefully the one to get her, breathe some life back into her. So a full frame, even got the oil fill cap still there. Nothing looks bent. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Looks like it was just taken apart and left. Wasn't even clean. Got lots of grease and crud on it. This little wiring tab, a little bit bent, but that's how you got to bend them to get the wires out. So for your cables, that's still there. It looks like actually in good shape. I can't see anything. So I'm going to take it to work where we have a pressure washer this week. I'll wash it down. I'll probably have it blasted and powder coated just because it's a part and it'll look pretty. I'll think about that. Maybe not. Maybe it just needs painting and putting back together because it's going to go on a long damn ride. Maybe that might be. So I'll have a think about that. Okay, there's the frame down there. We're sticking with the frame stuff. Here's the swing arm. Again, that's all there, covered in grease and crud. Still got the axle pin, or whatever you want to call that, the pivot pin where the shock mounts. And one of the foot pegs. Oh, I thought it was bent. It was just there. That's a little loose. Doesn't appear to be bent. Looks like it's in all right shape. Dirty as heck. Just needs to be cleaned, and 2 for 2. I guess we'll stick with frame stuff. Here's the down tubes for the forks connected to the front wheel. Tire actually doesn't look terrible. Cables are there. The brake cable still attached to it. Yeah, some pitting in the fork tubes. We'll look at that. We might upgrade the front end, might not. It's got a drum brake. I don't know. I kind of got to think as I go through this, am I going to be a purist and ride the bike as it was in '83 or make some improvements? Kind of thinking of riding how it was. That's my thought right now. If I wanted a newer bike, I guess I could have just bought a newer bike. And there's the back wheel. Got a good tire on it as well. Still got nubs on it. I don't know how old it is. So, well, let's get here. Here's a front fender. Looks like it's been painted at some point. I don't know if that's the way it came. Maybe it did. Black, dirty. Complete seat pan. The seat itself is in pretty rough shape, as you can see. But the foam actually is all right, and the pan is all right, so definitely could be recovered and restored. Has this tank. Not sure if it's original or aftermarket. It's in good shape. No big scratches, or a few scratches on the front there. Petcock, bunch of dirt. It's a gas tank. Okay, so now we have all these boxes. We have all the main stuff, the frame and the forks and the tires and the rim. That's all there. Let's see what we've got in this tubs. So it looks like he's done some cleaning on these guards and cases. This one is for, I'm not sure, something on the engine. Is it the clutch cover? Yeah. Some good gouging in there. And we have a valve cover. Again, that looks in really good shape. And we have the top end. That's the valve cover. Here is the head. Let's go in the big box here. Okay. Carburetor. So it's got it's that vacuum assisted carb. So you got a carb and some kind of vacuum assist. Cables, everything's still on up here. And then we have the jug. Oh, interesting to see what this thing looks like. I wonder if there was a reason why this motor was tore down. There's our main cover there. I think that's where the oil filter goes, maybe, or a oil filter made of magnesium. And we have a clutch basket. And this is, I think, a counter weight. And here are now engine cases. So here's one side. Okay, so here's someone has made a repair. That's kind of disappointing to discover, but whatever. We're gonna see if we can't find a replacement piece of this case or see what we can do. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull the rest out. It's the pieces of the transmission and the other side that goes with the clutch, I think. I think that's in the Kickstarter. Oh, I'm probably not filming this properly. Yeah, just the all the parts from the other side. A bunch of clips and seals laying in the bottom. I think someone out there has got to have the stuff we're going to end up needing. The world's a big place, but it's a little smaller now with the internet. Let's have a look in this one here now. Here is the air box. So that's nice. Here's the monoshock. This is an interesting one here. Fun. So we have some electrical components. I'm not going to empty it right out, but it's a rat's nest of a wire and harness. Good times. Well, there's masking tape on there. That looks like a nightmare. And here is original headlight. It'll be a big learning curve for me. Another headlight bucket. The bike that's running the same bike, and he's taken off all the headlight, the mirrors, the signals. It's just for off-road. So some of this stuff might be for that bike. Rear fender. Some electrical component. I think this somehow sits in the rear. I think that goes over the shock. This is under the seat, maybe. Something like that. Not sure. We got a brake, rear brake. We got a pan for the rear fender. It's like a side case, a piece of most of a side case of one of the bikes. Oh hey, a BC license plate. That was the last time it was on the road. Here's an engine mount, I believe. Some plastic, who knows what it's for. Oh, here's another side piece. The bike up in my truck is missing the right side piece. Maybe that's it. Rear tail light, all banged up and taped up. Oh, here's the clutch. Still got oil in there. All the discs of the clutch. Another magneto setup here. Electrical, so there's two of those. Some extras, some redundancy, that's neat. Kickstart, shaft or part of one, some odds and ends, some signals. I think it's mostly here. I'm happy. We need to go and ride the running XT550, and then this, I just need to kind of soak it in, take it all in for a little while, and get my head around it and start mapping out what we're going to do. Start with the frame and get a rolling chassis together, kind of mock it up from there. It's hockey night in Canada, so I just have a few minutes before I watch this Stanley Cup playoff game in Vegas and Carolina. So awesome picking up that bike today and unboxing everything that was there. Can't believe it. But you know, in my excitement, I think I missed one of the boxes because there was a whole bunch of unopened packages of parts, OEM parts it looked like, and I also, in my haste, realized I didn't come across a crank shaft or con rod or a piston. So I'm gonna find this one box that I missed. Okay, I'm pretty funny. I wasn't gonna unbox it because it was all buried after I piled the whole basket case up. I was gonna watch the hockey. The hockey hasn't come on yet. I haven't sung the anthems, and curiosity got the better of me. So I'm gonna have a look what's in here. Another cover. Looks like that oil filter cover, I think. These are all screws and bolts of various sizes from the engine cases. Looks like more bolts, some weird looking clips. All kinds of engine rebuild seals from Yamaha oil pump. Just O-rings, 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 O-rings. Cylinder head parts. Yeah, so here's the main bolts for the head. A piston wrist pin. Okay, here's some gears, not labeled. Something with the kick start maybe. There's a big spring there. Looks like an oil pump. I'm getting some good stuff here. Cylinder parts. This looks like a cam chain adjuster, I think. Here's some boots for the carburetor. Looks like intake boots. Cover of some kind, but it looks like an internal, like it's something that goes inside the engine. All kinds of fittings. Here's the cams. There's a set of cams. Some gears. Valves. A valve, number 1. Not sure what that is. Some more sprockets. Clutch basket. Piston. Not sure what that is. Oil pickup. I don't know what that is. Fuel filter. That looks like a tank strap. With a little rubber mount. All kinds of bolts. And pièce de résistance, the crankshaft and the con rod. She's big. Rings, bolts. And I was looking at the serial numbers today because I'm going to go and register them in BC, Canada, where I live. Even the off-road bikes need registration. And I want to get one of them on the road. So I wanted to get my paperwork in order to go do that. And one thing I realized is that the engines are swapped between the frames. So that kind of makes sense. Somebody owned the one bike and blew up the motor, I think, at some point, which is why it's now in pieces and ready to go to the machine shop. And bought another bike with a running motor and swapped them, as the frames and the motors are supposed to have matching serial numbers. Mine don't, but they match the other bike, so they've been swapped at some point, and at some point maybe I'll have to address that and swap them back. Anyways, they're both matching, they're just in the wrong the motors are in the wrong bikes, or